Are you feeling exhausted with this mini pullback yet? You might be fairly new to crypto in the crypto space, and like many, you'll be frustrated with why the crypto market isn't going straight up. Now, I hear that a lot from people, and many people expect that that is exactly what is supposed to happen in crypto, and when it doesn't, they dump their coins and leave. And this is part of the reason why there is so much money to be made by the patient. Today we're going to show you how we're going to show you a very encouraging sign for the crypto market with Bitcoin, how that's looking, and why I think it's ready to take off again. We're going to also take a look at some gaming and gaming ecosystem plays that haven't gone crazy yet, but are ones that I think will be very, very hot. We'll then take your questions and take a look at your hot picks. Stay tuned, as this week we will be giving away more tokens from our sponsors, Chain. And when we break the 25K subscribers mark, we will start giving away our 401J giveaway. See our nice little icon we have here? Federa is one of our two that we have. And so stay tuned, because as we break the 25K mark, we're going to bring those giveaways to you, and they're a nice way to supplement your growing portfolio. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. And if you like money in crypto and are looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and subscribing with that all notifications button enabled. Special note, you know this, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, sharing with you why I think the crypto market is the best place to be and specific cryptos I like. It's how I think about things that led to actions that turned my portfolio from thousands into millions. It's how I think about crypto that I share with you. I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about in this channel on a regular basis, because I don't talk about cryptos I don't believe in. So join us, strap in for the show, and let's welcome our producer D-Money in the Crypto Rain Command Center.
What up, Jay? How's it going? And what up as well to Todd, Valentine, Stardust Runner, Vikas, Chris, all up in the chat. It's good to see everybody today on this Monday. It's almost December. I'm stoked for this. Are you?
Absolutely. How was your weekend?
It was good, man. Nothing really to report, right? Just some kid stuff and family and all that. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's kick this off, okay?
Let's do. Join me, Rainmakers. Now, we are building the most informed audience in crypto, and if we nail that, we should also become the wealthiest audience in crypto. So you're in the right place. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart, because it is bullish. There we go. Share my screen here. So now we're looking at the previous, this big run up happened all the way starting from last year, and this is why patience pays huge. And I know if you joined anywhere in here, especially if you joined around here, which I know some of you did, it's been frustrating having it come down like this, because I know when we're new in crypto, we think the numbers should just go up, and then we get hit by these big retracements. And trust me, if you bought Bitcoin here, or some of the altcoins that then retraced, it was painful watching it, wasn't it? But what the smart do that make good money is when they make entries, they always keep some on the side, because can we agree that there were some amazing pickups here? But I wanted to focus in on this trend. Look at how it's been repeating this cycle. So it had a flag here, or a pennant here, broke up. Had another pennant here trading down in this triangular pattern that angles downward, and then broke up big again. And look what we're doing here, another pennant trading down, and it looks like we might even be breaking out of this and ready to head out, or it might come back in here, trade a little bit more, and then be ready to break upwards again. And this time it might be ready to go pretty strong. And so looking at this chart, I mean, this is a bullish sign. Now, if you look historically, all these big pullbacks, they were all led by some kind of FUD, some kind of pullback. Here Elon Musk was tweeting positive about Bitcoin, and then he decided the energy consumption was too big and that he didn't like it so much, and that kind of kicked this big turn off. When we had this big pullback, if you're brand new in crypto, it can be scary going through your big pullback. But in general, what I share with people who are new to this space is it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And every once in a while, it's 3 steps forward, one step back. So if you look at this bigger chart here, can you see the 2 steps forward, 1 step back? And then these little steps, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And what's funny, a lot of times people get burned out in this space. It has everything to do with just bad expectations. They're expecting, wow, that number just goes up and it's supposed to run and run and run. And when it pulls back, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm out. I'm so done. I'm so frustrated. And really, all that really happened bad for them was bad expectations. So being an analytical myself and having been in the space now for 4 years, but been an investor for 20 years prior to that, I understand about expectations, and expectations is a lot of what drives our disappointment. But my thought was in starting this channel is if I help your expectations be realistic, you're going to stick around here for the next 5 years. And if you stick around here for the next 5 years and you make some pretty good decisions during that time period, I think you're going to end up way ahead of where you would have been doing anything else during that time. Does that make sense? So if you strap in for the long term, I think it's going to end pretty well for you. Now, it does have to do with what decisions you make along the way. But generally, if you make even some mediocre decisions, but you hold them during the right time periods, my guess is you'll do really, really well. Now, let's jump into some of these gaming projects I want to talk about. Now, the gaming narrative has been hitting really strong. Now, I had a feeling the gaming narrative was going to be really big 3 years ago when some of the first gaming projects were coming out back then. And the first one coming out was Axie Infinity. About the same time another game came out, Gods Unchained. And I thought, okay, Gods Unchained is kind of like a card-based game that's on the computer. That makes sense to me. I invested in that. I also invested in another one called Axie Infinity. And at the time they were doing some sales of land, and I invested about $4,000 into land. It did really good. They later released a token. The token has done tremendously. And so let's look at how some of these big ones have done recently. Now, what's funny is it did catch us kind of off guard when all of a sudden Facebook decided they're changing their name to Meta, and they're going to be all about the Metaverse. And that's really what kicked off this huge spike. Now, this spike was always going to happen, or this increase. It just happened really quickly because of this. And I get that everybody's talking about these now, but the question is, are these good entry points now? Well, maybe. It's risky, right? It's like walking on thin ice, and on the middle of that thin ice, you're able to pick up gold as long as you don't break through and fall through it. Now, in my opinion, I like it when the ice isn't so thin. And it's possible that this trend still continues up. Look how it follows this trend line so well. It could keep going. We just don't know if it will. This could also be a double top here. And it might be time for a big retracement. The great entry points were along here or even at this point. But here is some thin ice, right? And Decentraland is following a little bit different pattern. And it's seeming to follow along this trend line here. These ones have pumped tremendously. Look, the great buys were back here at 82 cents, maybe even here at 250, but at 250, you're only up double. So the ice might be getting a little bit thin. And think how long this gaming narrative and this, specifically this is in the Metaverse narrative, how long this has been running up. So we're talking about late October. We're a full month into it. Does it continue up from here? Maybe, but these ones have already pumped. What sometimes happens is a lot of momentum goes another direction. So am I buying these now? No, these are ones that I bought when they were way cheaper, and they are all sells for me at this point. This is take profit zones for me, not buy zones. I like to buy them when they're boring and identifying good pickups. In fact, a lot of the mana I bought at 10 cents and 5 cents. So even at 85 cents, that was a sell zone for me, a sell zone 1. So I am not buying at these points. Though it's up to you, I'd be looking along these trend lines and watching, see if they break through, because if they break through, it's probably going to be a big correction. Now, what am I bullish on? Now, these are some ones that haven't pumped yet, and there's reasons why they haven't pumped, and I'll talk to you about them. The first one is one I'm very bullish on. Now, I've been familiar with Devio, who's the builder behind this, since early this year. And I invested in Devio itself as a company. Now, Devio's blockchain can handle 8 million transactions per second.
Put that into perspective, Jay. What are some of the other major...
Well, some of the people that have been around for a while know how big that is, but if you're new, you're like, what does that really mean, right? So, for example, Solana, a lot of people have been saying, Solana, oh my gosh, it's so amazing, it's so fast. It can handle 35,000 transactions per second, or maybe if you don't discount some things out of there, up to 60,000 transactions per second. So 8 million's what? 100 times faster than Solana. Now, Devio doesn't have a token out that you can buy yet. It will soon. And I think it's going to be huge for a number of reasons. But they also released this game that they've been working on for 4 years called Litcraft. And right now you can't buy Litcraft's token, though they will have a token coming out in maybe the next month. And I think that token will do amazing. But there is something that you can buy now, and I'll walk you through how to buy it. So first you come to litcraft.io, and on their main page you're like, okay, launch sale. I am going to take you a little bit through their website here. And if you haven't caught the video, maybe we can throw up the video later for you to link to so that you can see the video where we go more in depth into Litcraft. But notice they even have a book with the lore that was written several years ago and published. And they are going to make some NFTs of this and throw this in the game as well. But it gives you kind of an overview of what's here. One of the best places you can join them is on their Telegram channel. On their Telegram, you'll often see Tom in there. Tom is the CEO of Devio, and he does take time to join you in there. So I strongly suggest you join their Telegram and take a look at that. Now, back to what you can buy. Go to launch sale, and it's going to tell you, okay, launch sale. To participate in the sale, the button above will take you to the Litcraft Telegram group. Follow the instructions in the pinned message to access the sale. Ask the community or the admins if you need any help. To learn more about the sale, scroll on. So it tells you a little bit what's going on in the sale, and they're selling some lit pet chests as well as some land chests, and these will be level 7 land. I'm not going to go too into depth about the different levels of land. Essentially, this is the only time anyone will be able to buy level 7 land without having to buy it on the resale market, because the game itself might do land in the future, but if so, it'll be level 6 or below. Their land is extremely cheap. They're also doing some lit pet chests. Now, with these lit pets they're selling, think of like Axie Infinity when they did their Origin Axie sale. And some of those Origin Axies, if you were lucky to get some mystic traits, go for in the millions to some of them in the tens of millions. Now, part of the reason is because Axie Infinity has taken off because a lot of people are playing the game. You can actually play the beta version of this game. You can follow some instructions on the Telegram channel to figure out how to get the beta and go ahead and play it. And if you play it and you've played Axie, you're going to see that this game is way more fun than Axie Infinity. Now, Axie Infinity, if you play it, there's a lot of people playing it because it's like a job. And it's probably a lot more fun than working in a factory in, say, the Philippines or Vietnam. And if for some people, they make as much money as being in a factory. So it's not a bad place to be in crypto games making money, but what if the game is like 5 times more in depth and 5 times more fun? Now, my understanding is this January, the actual game will be full public launch that you can play it. You can play it without investing any money to get started, but if you do have these lit pets, they will be level 7 lit pets, which will be extremely difficult to get in game. And so I think there's going to be some serious value there. Really, this channel is one of the few channels that's been talking about it altogether because they haven't started doing a lot of publicity for this. When their token launches and when their Devio blockchain token launches, I think they're going to be in the news a lot. So right now is way before a lot of the hype is going to come. All right.
Hey, Jay, so I threw it up in the chat there, but I think that the Cyber Monday, the code is Cyber Monday 2021. To get the Cyber Monday discount for Litcraft.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so
they're currently running a 30% off sale. Perfect day to be talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's what they were talking about in the following the Telegram link. But that'll help you.
Fantastic. So you're able to get an extra discount today. Love it. All right. So another game I want to talk about. I stocked up on this. Now I'm an advisor also on this, and so I get some things from them. I also put additional capital into buying both their lit pet chests and their land because I think this will be huge. Do I know that it'll be huge? No, but I see all the right things setting up for it to be very, very big. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. When they do their token sale, their Quint token sale for the game, they're going to use those funds to bring in some AAA level games into their ecosystem, into their sphere. And the way it works is Litcraft is a whole kind of like Harry Potter world. And like Harry Potter, they have mages in Litcraft, and essentially lit means somebody with magical powers has been awakened or lit, and their powers have come alive. And so these mages live in our world with everyone else, but they know they have secret powers, and everyone else doesn't necessarily know. Well, these mages also have some other cities that they have built where just the mages go. They also like gaming and video games, and so there will be games that they play. And Nesperience, which is the game we're talking about here, is one of the games that the mages play. But they're going to bring in some AAA level titles, and they have some systems set up so that they can bring them in very fast, so that within their ecosystem they can have some AAA level games in as early as 6 months. Now, if you think about Star Atlas, which looks phenomenal, I love space type games. I'm a big fan of that game. How long is it going to be before Star Atlas is playable? Like forever, right? They just take a long time to develop, and then we don't even know if the gameplay is going to be great. Now, I suspect it's going to be great, but we don't know that. Illuvium, another game that I'm really positive on, I think is going to be amazing. How long is it going to be before Illuvium's playable? Maybe a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years? Now, that looks like another game that I totally want to play. But Litcraft will have a way to bring in successful AAA games into their ecosystem that you can play in a period of like 6 months or 12 months. And my guess is that kind of news becomes widespread and known, and the right partnerships are done in order to solidify which AAA level games. Do you think that's going to be big breaking news? I do. And then what's going to happen? People are going to look at, oh my gosh, what can I participate in with them? And that will be absolutely gigantic. All right, another...
Hey, Jay, just real quick. A couple people are asking about buying the Litcraft tokens. I know that you said before that you cannot. Do we have any idea when those are going to be available?
Soon. I was involved looking over the tokenomics with that and made a few suggestions, and then they pulled in someone else, too, that's really, really good at that, does a lot. He's actually related to GameStation and very smart at tokenomics. He's designed a lot of tokenomics out there. So they have that done. They've done some early round sales to some people that the team knows, and so I don't have any information on the public sale or what that's going to launch through yet. It hasn't been announced, and I don't even know it either. So I just know it'll probably be launched within the next month. It'll be called Quint. It'll probably be on their blockchain, the Devio blockchain. That's all I know right now. They will probably make that and their DevX token tradable on a centralized exchange fairly soon after launch, so that one of the major centralized exchanges out there you'll be able to trade the token on. All right, so I love this project. I could talk about it for a while, but I want to get on to some of these other ones that I really, really like. And this is one that's up and coming. It's in pre-sale. Referral, huh? I wonder if you can make some referrals to get a chance to whitelist on this. That I don't know, but League of Ancients, I'm really looking forward to this because I think there's going to be a marriage of crypto gaming and esports. If you think about the biggest esports games out there, one of them is Dota 2 and the other one is League of Legends. And they're a MOBA style game, and where it's like 5-on-5 team play. And League of Ancients, that's exactly what they're going for. And what's fun about this type of game, they actually don't take all that long to develop. So they can come to speed very, very fast. So this is one, you want to find them on Twitter and follow them, because I have no idea which launchpads they're launching on, but this is one, whatever launchpads they're launching on, pay attention to, because that would be a great price to get into this. Now, I know when I talked about Star Atlas, some of our community members jumped all over that. They figured out which launch pads it was coming through, and they were able to get tokens at the launch on that. Star Atlas did a 200 or 300x. Another one that I covered was Cryo War, and I know a few got into that, and Cryo War did like 500x. In fact, I think Star Atlas ended up doing like 500x or 700x and then pulled back some. This, I think, is going to be in the realm of that, so follow them on Twitter, stay up to date on them, because you want to jump into those launch pads and get some allocation on this. If you're in a position you can do that. Sometimes you have to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 on launchpad tokens in order to get a guaranteed allocation. They will usually have some lower tiers that have lottery allocations for less, but this is one you don't want to miss.
Jay, there's a question that came through that goes right along with what you're talking about right now.
Okay.
Anand Sagar, is it worth taking part in Rat Race for IGO or IDO? I did one, but I was given only a few cents of asset, which doesn't make sense, even if the asset launches at 20x.
In Rat Race?
He's saying that just participating in the Rat Race of like trying to get in that IDO. What you're talking about right now, like you got to dump so much into the launch pad. But
Yeah.
Obviously what you're talking about right now, like it in some of these projects, it is going to make a bunch of sense.
The ones that go 100x, it's worth it. It's a pain. I jumped through all those hoops in March and April and participated in. I went through that myself, so I know the pain that's there, because sometimes like they'll launch at odd hours and you have to be right there, because even if you got a guaranteed allocation, they actually oversubscribe it by a little bit. So if you're not doing the transaction right then, you miss it. And that just happens because so much money is about to happen, especially with these projects that are going to be huge. And I think Link of Ancients is in that area where it's going to be huge. But it does like raise your blood pressure. It does raise your stress level and trying to participate in that. It's kind of like trying to participate in the VV drops, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, these Disney drops are so huge. And you're sitting there clicking the buy button to try to get it, and sometimes you don't even end up getting it. I know it can be frustrating, and that is part of it. If you are lucky and you do well on those, it does pay off really huge. Is it worth it? Well, that's something you have to ask yourself. In January, February, March, April, I was all over many of the different launch pads then and participating in their launches that I thought was going to be huge. So I've been there before, and it's going to get even busier as people figure out that these games are doing such high returns, or some of them. The launch pads will get even busier and their tokens will get more expensive. All right, let's take a look at Space Misfits. Now, this is the type of game that I love, which is an economics game with some kind of action going on, like ship fighting as well as space mining. This is another one that I think is going to do very well. This type of game, because of the graphics levels, they're keeping actually within a realm that totally makes sense. This is one that's going to be closer to development. This is another one that I would follow and look for their launch. Now, do I think this one will do well at launch? Yeah, I think it'll do really well. Do I think it's going to do 800x? I don't know. Maybe if like Big Boy starts talking about it and stuff, I think it's going to have really good returns. I think it will come up. This is one absolutely worth keeping an eye on, and this is one I would absolutely play myself. Now, speaking of these things, now a lot of trading on the NFT markets is on OpenSea, right? Which makes sense. And some of the big traders on OpenSea, or the big things that trade, is like Bored Ape Yacht Club and a lot of things. But is it fair to say we need more marketplaces that make sense? And so there is another marketplace coming in that is really funded by Animoca Brands. And so Quid, I talked about them a week ago. I just need to talk about them some more, because I do think this is going to be big. So they will have a token launching. I don't know when it's launching, but what I would do is I would follow them on Twitter, and I'd put the notifications button on. They haven't done a lot of publicity yet, so keep an eye on this one, because if you think about it, Axie Infinity, they're backers of Sandbox. So what would happen if all of a sudden, and they actually back OpenSea here, but their marketplace I think is going to be easier to be cross-chain compatible than say like OpenSea would be able to be. So watch this marketplace, as well as, notice this, explore just a few of our brands. So my guess is through this they're going to bring some of this IP that they have relationships with. So just an early note, keep an eye on Quid. That's Quid with 2 Ds. Now there's not a lot. You can connect and put your wallet. You can buy some of these things. These not so interesting to me. I don't know what's going on with them. But really good IP can do really, really well. Like Hello Kitty, that's IP that can do really well. Disney, of course. Dr. Seuss, interestingly enough, should. Funko, yep. So keep an eye on this on Quid. Follow them on Twitter. In fact, there is a way you can earn some Quid tokens now. Want to stake cake and earn squid, or stake Quid, BNB, LP to earn cake. So right here you can stake Quid cake to earn Quid. So follow this announcement that just came out earlier today on this for a way to earn some Quid right now. All right, another one. Now, many of you know that we talked about Game Station's launchpad that came out, and there's another gaming launchpad that's coming out that I want to bring your attention to, and that's Gamify. Now, Coach K, who is another influencer in this space, he is one of the advisors to this project. What I like about Coach K is he's actually an investor with a YouTube channel. A lot of the YouTube channels aren't investors. First, they're YouTubers who talk about investing but aren't necessarily good at it. But Coach K, that is not the case. His charting also is exceptional. So he's an advisor to this launchpad. Now, if you were able to get in on Game Station from ICO price went, I think ICO price, I had it pulled up here, was 10 cents. And I think it's trading around 2.20. So it was, if you were able to get in on the ICO, it was a solid 20x. Now, there were some vesting lockups on it. You got 20% at TGE and 80% linear daily vesting over 2 months. So, how are you doing on price? It's all the way up at 258. So, 26x. Yeah. So, keep an eye on Gamify. So, follow them on Twitter. And you're looking for what launch pads they're coming out on so that then you can participate in that. Is it worth it? That's a question you have to ask yourself. But my guess is it will probably do at least along the lines of what Game Station has done. All right. Now, I want to hear your sentiments on the market. I love the question and answer segment that's possible through our love streams. Tell me what you're feeling on the market, and then we're going to get into another area where we're able to interact with you on the live stream. But how are you feeling in the market? How do you feel it's going? Are you frustrated because we've had this big pullback? Is this your first pullback you've been through? I want to hear what you're feeling, what comments you have. I've been in this for 4 years, so I'm a little bit numb to these pullbacks. I expect them. I love them because usually it allows me to reposition and get some really good buys. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be the first one to jump in here because it's funny. You asked me at the beginning of the show, you were like, hey, how was your weekend? And I was like, it was okay. But like the reality is that this was one of the first big pullbacks that I've gotten. You know, like I mean, big meaning what? You know, about 10% of my portfolio. And it really was. It was just kind of this like this overall. I kept checking, you know, my balances and stuff like that, which wasn't doing any good whatsoever, right? And I kind of kept hearing your voice in my head, just kind of like, "Oh, just stay patient," you know, that sort of a thing. And so you know, about halfway through yesterday, I was like, "All right, I'm not going to look anymore," you know. And I checked this morning. I'm like, "Okay, cool, it's coming back," right? But yeah, it does create this feeling of just kind of at least for me.
And it's going the wrong way, and you're falling behind, and oh my gosh, is it going to turn around? And these are all the feelings that are normal. And this is why so many people come into this space, and it's exciting, right? Especially when it's right, you're riding that wave up. And what causes them to leave is times like this. And so just know, if you're in for the kind of gains that are possible through this, you have to ride these, you know, you're going to go through some waves down. Even within the middle of a bull run, notice how we're going 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You'll notice in a downtrend, it'll be 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward. That's not a fun place to be. But that's going to happen to us in the coming, who knows, 5 months, 6 months, could be 3 months, 4 months. And so there's no better place you can be for these kind of returns. Crypto is going to create trillionaires. They'll make Mark Zuckerberg's wealth look like nothing. Like, really, are we all going to use Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse? Because I'm not. I don't trust Facebook. there will be other companies that come in. In fact, it'll be fun to see the Winklevi twins surpass Mark Zuckerberg, because he kind of cheated them out of Facebook, and they got $50 million in the settlement. It'll be fun to see their wealth dwarf his, and that's going to happen from crypto. So isn't that the place you want to be? Because Facebook created many millionaires. Crypto will create many trillionaires.
Comments coming in, and I feel bad. This gentleman or this person, it's GNAGJS. I didn't know he was the very first person that said hello, but I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I didn't give him a shout out. But he says he's not frustrated. He's loving the dip. Just wish he could. Wish I had more liquidity. And yeah, other similar sentiments. Sub-Zero says in crypto since 2017, pullbacks or fire sales.
Yeah. So Quid is live. Did come out here, so you're not going to be able to get the IDO. Let's look at some quick numbers. 1 billion token supply is trading at $5. I know there's big lockups on tons of their tokens, huge lockups. So that would suggest the fully diluted market cap is at 5 billion. I don't know how to interpret this price because we don't have any idea how much is in circulation right now. My guess is it's around 5% or 10%. Which would put it at 100 million, still put it at, if it were 10%, a $542 million market cap, which is quite large and probably going to get much larger. Now, will it have a short-term pullback and then go up in a month or two? I don't know. Or will it just keep continuing up from here? Obviously, some people that got in at the IDO are taking profits. And so if we were to chart this out, yeah, look at this, generally trading up. It could trend downward from here or could keep going up. What you're looking for is a good buy on this. Is it currently a good buy? And it just jumped another 25%. That's hard. I think this is going to be one of those projects that's going to be around 20 years from now with Animoca backing it. I mean, that's the best backing you could have in this whole space is Animoca brands. So my guess is, and in their marketplace, I don't really love it right now, but I'm looking at what it is right now. My guess is it's going to be one of the best marketplaces because the people that are behind it. So is it a good buy now? I don't know. I would not put a lot in, personally, buying it right now. So this was a fantastic buy when it launched and was there ever so briefly.
What does it look like the date is on the launch?
19th. It came out on, well, actually the 18th, later in the evening, and then was tradable, went up, came up, and it hasn't been on a lot of people's radars. My guess is going to be more on the radars. I haven't seen any of the big channels talking about it, but maybe they have. I just haven't seen it. So I still like the price here, but going in heavy, I just don't know enough about what the vesting for different people look like. I did see that there were some pretty big lockups for a lot of the, I think it was the pre-sale lockups were pretty big. My guess is the IDO, they got some of their tokens, and that's what's circulating here. So at a $500 million market cap even, probably still a good deal, especially with some good lockups. But I wouldn't go all in on this personally because yeah, I just don't know enough about that. The project itself, I like it. Cool. Tune in every time you're all live. Share with all my crypto friends. Appreciate the insight. We appreciate that, Bearish Bull. We appreciate that a lot. 158 Beats had an interesting comment. Jay, what do you think about click-to-earn games like Crypto Planes and Coin to Fish? The ROI is 1 month. Could those be scams? Probably. I don't know anything about those projects, but you will see a lot of gaming projects that are fly-by-night companies that are just kind of scams, and so those sound in line with what I would be very, very suspicious of. It sounds like you already have good insight into that, and you already got that feeling that probably these are scams.
Hey, just a reminder for everybody when we do the I guess the proper Q&A, because there have been people who, they're like, hey, look at this token, look at that token. If you can give us more than just the name of the token, give us what you like about the project, why you're bullish on it. those are the types of comments that we're going to call or that we're going to pick from, right? I know that they're trying to think of the guy's name. John Johnson has been asking for a few things. If you can narrow those down to one and why you like it, then that's a little bit more.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into that segment. Let me give you the rules of it. Tell us ones that you want to review. Now, ones that you think are hot right now, but be warned, I'm going to give my honest opinion on this. And so if I disagree with you on this, I'm going to say it. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm not always right. I'm just almost always right. And so I'll share like my honest opinions on it. And I'm going to share like whether I would marry this one, whether I'd run away, or if, man, this would be a great one night stand, meaning short time period. So your suggestions, put what the ticker symbol is, but specifically go for ones where you think the price is hot right now. And then I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to show you how I do the research. If it's one I haven't heard of, I'll share, walk you through how I do the research, because the goal of this channel is to create investors out of all of you, so that you're not just crypto enthusiasts that come in and don't know how to make smart analytical decisions that can take your portfolio way up. So I'm not fishing for you. I'm teaching you how to fish. Makes sense? And some of that is like holding your hand, but I have to also do it within the constraints of not giving financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. So let's see what some of your comments are. What is your opinion of Soul Chicks project and the tokenomics? Thank you. I like Soul Chicks a lot. Like, the game looks fun. The idea behind it fun. A lot of publicity. A ton of publicity. They're also raising a ton of funds. And they're launching... I'm good at recognizing what patterns do, and they're launching on 30 launchpads. Now, that could end up being really good. Here's what I like about it, and here's my concern. Okay, it's going to launch on 30 launchpads, so that means a bunch of people have a chance to participate. So the question is everyone who participates trying to sell their tokens right away? And if so, are there buyers that weren't able to get into that are still going to buy up those tokens? Because if there's way more buyers trying to get it still, and they can only get those tokens once some people that get in on the launch pads sell their tokens, then the price could skyrocket some more. But if everyone who wants to get Soul Chicks tokens is essentially able to get them through the different launch pads, and then they're all looking to sell right away, what would that do to the price? Potentially dump it. Now, do I like this one? Absolutely, yes. I like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the trailer video that they did. That's my concern about it. Now, if it does dump way down, because that happens, good entry point, right? So if it dumps way, way down and then people are dumping below IDO price, I love it when that happens, because then I can get an excellent entry price, because eventually those kind of things turn around. So good team behind it. My guess is during this coming 3 to 4 or 5 months, a lot of things are going to pump a lot more from where they're at now. So if you're able to get a great entry, because it does dump right away, then great. So the way I would play this personally is at the IDO, get some, have some money on the side in case it dumps, let it dump if it does, and then get it. If it jumps way up from the launch, then I would take my profits out, get my initial fully out, and then I've got a free ride. Make sense? All right. Will you be participating in Cornucopia's token launch? I like that game a lot. It's a game, Cornucopia is the island, and they're having land as well, and it's all going to be on Cardano, which Cardano is going to be able to hold a lot of and handle a lot of transaction volume in the future. Cardano's been off people's minds. A lot has been like, Solana, it's so fast, it can do 35,000 transactions per second. That is like, 100 times faster than like Binance Smart Chain and stuff. Yes, and it can handle a lot, but as a lot of traffic is going that way, you're seeing some congestion. In fact, they had to shut it down for a while. So Cardano, when they implement their Hydra solution that allows them to have 1 million transactions per second, or 1,000 transactions, 1,000 transactions per second per node, and then they add like 1,000 nodes, then they're at 1 million transactions per second. So I know people aren't thinking about Cardano right now. It's out of the narrative, which means the price is attractive right now. It's a great pickup time, in my personal opinion. And Cornucopias is on that. I think it's going to be a successful project. Will I be participating? I don't do the IDOs. Even though I hold some IDO tokens, I have not been participating in them because for me, putting $500 in is like, I'm not going to like wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning to get into something that I can only buy $500 unless I'm like, okay, this is going to go 500x, then I'll do it. If I'm holding that token and get into it. But generally, I did that all through March and everything, and my portfolio's done really well. And so now I'm in a place that I'm not motivated enough to put 200 or 400 or 500 in a project to get up at crazy hours and go through all that stress. Now, I did when I wasn't in the position I'm at now, and I went through all that. But am I going to do that again? No.
Our buddy, I think he said his name is pronounced Nice. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Will you be buying their land also? I assume he's talking about cornucopias.
Yes, that I want really, really bad. So yes, I will find a way. If I have to wake up at 2 a.m., I will find a way. Yes. For their land, yes. Token, no. All right, so let's see what ones we got here. Staking, Wonderland, Time, Olympus, etc. Thoughts? How do you personally decide stake single coins versus LPS? I guess that's outside the lines. Do we have any suggestions of ones they want us to look at that are following within the guidelines or the rules for us to review?
Yeah, so Marcus here, he's talking about AOS.
Yeah.
AOS has been in an uptrend recently. Where do you see this going end of run? Is its pump related to the broader uptrend in gaming metaverse projects given their technology?
So AOS has a lot of things. They're trying to be a competitor to YouTube, which we would love because they're decentralization and hopefully less like if your politics run sideways of Google and YouTube, sometimes they just remove your channel. They've done that a lot to crypto influencers with kind of like without any warning, and we don't know what's causing that. And so you might find yourself shut down and you didn't really do anything that you knew was wrong or anyone can identify that was wrong. So I want a strong competitor to YouTube. It helps monopoly behavior get minimalized when there's competitors and competition. And the truth is Rumble is out there. Library credits as a project, but Rumble's not very easily searchable. I don't know. I don't love Rumble. It's okay. I would like to see it be better. So I'm hoping AOS really fills that niche, and its project has done tremendous. We have been covering it when it was in this nice rounded bottom, and you can see nice rounded bottom of a W pattern. In fact, if we go the full, you get this little W pattern, and it's going up. Now, it's been going up strongly just because they've had some news coming out again. I do think it's going to do a lot better than even it did here, where it went up. I think it actually went up to $3, even though the chart doesn't show it. Where is it going to be end of run? I don't know. I don't have a lot of patterns to look at other than Theta. They're kind of in the same realm in some ways as Theta. There's a lot of differences too, but I think they're going to be big. In fact, let's go to their website and just take a look at what that looks like. I haven't looked at it recently. EOS Layer 1 blockchain-based content delivery network opens to a new era of internet streaming powered by you. I do think they're going to be huge, and I think those that were picking up when it was down here are going to be very happy, and I'm not selling mine. I still have mine. I'm holding it. And now it could come down temporarily from here, pull back, no worries. I'm holding mine for at least the next probably 2 to 5 months. Though if it hits like $20, I'm going to be very tempted to sell off some of mine.
Martin L. says, I'm new to crypto. 3 months in, I love UFO. It's my first 2x and 3x in crypto.
Nice job. UFO has been doing great. Now, these make it very hard to tell like where the price is really at. So it's a fraction of a cent. But if we do look at where the where the market cap is at, so their full market cap is in circulation, so there's no like fully diluted market cap that we can't look at. So it's at 1.2 billion. Let's take a look at the charts. It's been around, so it was a heck of a deal way back here in July. Can't even tell how many X's it's done there because we can't tell really what that
Jay.
Price is.
You don't have that Rain Man math going?
I'm pretty good at math, but not as good as like in Rain Man, right? Where you like can count the number of toothpicks dropped. Like, yeah. So that's not me. So look how it did this nice pennant here and then ran up again. So my guess is some more trading sideways. And my guess is there's going to be a greater parabolic move. Now the amazing deals were right here. And even not bad here. Watch for it to trade sideways maybe and then run up some more. Let's check out their website. Welcome to the dark Metaverse. Ooh, I like the eerie feel of that. I think they're launching some games within it, right? About Us. Okay, so it jumps right to, like, this looks like a white paper pitch deck. Welcome to the dark Metaverse, ever-expanding realm and infinite ecosystem that will consist of play-to-earn games, breedable in-game NFTs, earning virtual lands. So they are a system. I haven't done a deep dive into their fundamentals yet. Let's take a look at their Twitter. Yeah, I think I'm going to follow them. Now, am I buying at this price? Not yet. So, along the lines of what we were saying, is this a one-night stand? Is this a marry? Or is this a runaway? Yeah, so if I were going to buy this, it would be a one-night stand. And it would be just trading it to the next leg up. So, it's already had some of its gains. But look how it did this. It followed this perfect pennant pattern. Broke upwards. Wouldn't be surprised if it does that again. Now, I wouldn't personally be going in very heavy in this, kind of like one night stand. You always be cautious of, right? Because you don't know. It could turn into a double top and pull back. But overall, if we were able to draw this out, it won't let us. Look at this rounding pattern going up like this. Perfect. So what other charts are looking great that you're seeing out there that you want me to take a look at? Okay, and they said they just partnered with KDA. Now, there are a lot of things going on in the gaming. Kadena, okay. Kadena came out and did like this, right? So it's got this bull flag going on here, and it might break out to the upside, but it's so high. It was at $1. It's at $17, even after hitting 25 and pulling back. Their market cap's at $2.7 billion. So it might break out up from this. And they partnered probably to get some news. Kadena, I don't really like at these prices personally. There's other deals that haven't pumped so much already. And so for me, Kadena's a runaway. So if you see Monty Python, the Holy Grail, that sound clip is from that. So that is a runaway from me. Even though it might break out and go upwards, I'm looking for better entry points. So this one is a little more attractive. It hasn't had as much of a pump as that. Well, maybe it has. We just can't see what the numbers are. It's not as vertical as what Kadena has been. All right, so I look to buy when it's boring and buy when it's cheap, and that works really well for me. And passing on things that have already had huge green candles, sometimes you miss out some of the move. That's why I'd be willing to one night stand with this and hope that it continues up. And when it doubles, I would sell half of my profit so that I've got a free ride to continue exploring it. Make sense? All right. What else we got?
Alexander, do you want to talk about KSM Starter?
Let's do.
He
They're
says,
starting
what
to
do
have...
you think? Yeah, what do you think about KSM Starter? They already launched first IDO today. They will launch Integrity Network project tomorrow. That's supposed to be participate in Polkadot Parachain at the beginning.
I like Integrity that they're launching, and they're well positioned, right, to be launching things on Kusama. And there's some other things coming down the pipe with Kusama Starter that look very interesting. So I like them a lot. Now, there's not a lot of competition for them, specifically focusing on the Kusama network. So I think they're going to get a lot of hot projects coming through them. I think in general, a lot of these projects, their price, a lot of launchpad projects are going to pump very well. I still think they're undervalued by a lot. So let's say all their tokens were in supply, their fully diluted market cap would be about 70, 80 million, right? Which is fairly low, and that's a fully diluted market cap. There's no way 100% of their tokens are in supply. So their market cap is pretty low. So I like their price, and I would pay attention to what they're launching through them, because I think Integrity as well as some other ones have great chances to do well. I know some people FUD on Kusama Starter. There are other people in the Kusama ecosystem that don't like the competition. That's really what it comes down to. They feel like they get to be the gatekeepers for the Kusama network, which is kind of a closed ecosystem, like a lot of people that are having that ecosystem. And they're FUD. They're the same type of people, and in some cases, the exact same people that FUDded on Cardano when Cardano was at 2 cents. Were they right? Hell no. Are they right again? No. They get some things right, but they're dead wrong on this one.
Kangaroo Does Crypto asks, what about Scotty Beam? Moves NFTs between blockchains.
I like Scotty Beam, and we covered them, so it's all about where the price is at. In fact, CoinGecko, for some reason, does not show them. So we look up coin market cap, and let's check out where their price is today. Now, it does beam NFTs, essentially, between blockchains. Woo! Okay, wow. I mean, that looks huge, but it's really not that huge. They've done a little bit of... Okay, nice. Okay, so they were way up at $1.80, and they're way down here at 63 cents. And market cap is 64 million. Attractive. Fully diluted... Even their fully diluted market cap isn't very bad. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's not even the right one.
I was going to say, that seems like a lot of history for Scotty Beam.
I know, right? I'm like, what is going on? There we go, Scotty. I was like, I like that chart. Oh, man.
Woo!
Okay. So today has been hot. So they launched. They had this sell-off, rounded bottom, followed by a blast-off. Look for a pullback, but I like Scotty Beam. Okay, fully diluted market cap, still not bad at 218 million. Their current market cap, 3.1 million. Now, do notice, you can tell that not all their tokens are in circulation, so they'll have some kind of vesting schedule. And sometimes if you Google the vesting schedule, you can find that it's out there somewhere to figure out what tokens are going to be released then, because that gives you a better indicator of what is the sell pressure going to be, because a lot of venture capitalists that participate in the pre-sales, they just sell the tokens as they become available. I think they're crazy too, because I think people who are selling their tokens here were crazy. Because even if they had just been patient and held them for a little bit, it's already back up to 20 cents and it had some peaks here. So, I like these good projects and just hold them and let them do their thing. So it's on its way back up. Great job. I like it. Now, would I buy right here? No, I'd be looking for a pullback. And most likely there will be one, at least to the 23 cent range, maybe the 25 cent range. Somewhere around here is my guess. Good suggestion, though. As far as what I would do with this one, Scotty Beam, you got the marriage song. See, Scotty Beam I would marry for a 3 to 6 month time period. Beyond the annulment period, right? You got the sound?
I do not.
Oh, we haven't clipped that one yet. The only one we have.
Something like that, right?
We should just have Dee do the sound effects. That was pretty good.
We've got time for like one more question, probably.
Let's
Jay.
do it.
I don't know if you're gonna want to talk about Kart Racing League. He got me with the awesome show as always. He says it was my first Cooper launch purchase.
Let's take a look at it. I don't know this one. Interesting. 12 cents right after launch, bumped all the way up, or 1.2 cents. Here, let's take a look at their website. Racing League. Ooh, sexy. Oh, wow. Not so sexy. That is a blue Grinch right there. Racer and collect. It depends on how good their racing is. I'd have to see some videos. But there's room for a really good kart racing game to do well. So
that looks like Excite Bike.
Do you remember Excite Bike?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that game. And
Yeah,
so that's
sure.
why I think there's room for a really good racing game like that to do really well. So whether this is that or not, I don't know. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to pump just because it's got a pulse and it's got a team with a pulse and it's in a narrative. So if I'm right and December's really hot and then really February, March, April are really hot too, a lot of the stuff with the pulse is going to pump. What we're trying to figure out is what is really strong that might pump more. Now, I don't love this. Notice right here, they totally stole an X-Wing fighter. I don't love that. Because, like, if you feel strong in your game, you're not having to copy, like, somebody else's intellectual property, like an X-Wing. But, so a lot of the stuff will pump. As to whether it's good or not, I don't know. I'd have to see more, like, some video demos of what the game is going to look like. Or if the team was something about them that I recognized, I could say better. I can't tell. Kart Racing's token. I can't tell on this either. Market cap's at 75 million, $400 million market cap. I don't know. For me, probably run away till I know more. But not a bad suggestion. We appreciate the suggestion. All right. I do want to thank all of you for joining us. I also want to spank our sponsors. Boy, where was my mind on that one?
You're thinking about one night stands.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
We were debating on what sound clip we should use for like the one night stand, and so maybe it's like 50 Shades of Grey. We were talking about there's some sound related to that, so maybe that's where my mind was. Anyway, we want to thank our sponsors, WanChain, and they do give us 500 won to give away every month. You stay tuned. Later this week in the live stream, we'll announce the giveaway and that we're giving away 125 won this week. Also, we want to show that clip again for Federa. We have our 401js that once we cross 25,000 subscribers, we'll be giving those away, 401j and Cortex. Cortex is kind of like what is it? Where you can buy websites, like web domains, like GoDaddy and Facebook had a baby, because there'll be some social media components of it. So Unstoppable Domains and Facebook had a baby. So stay tuned for those. If you want to help us get to 25,000 subscribers faster, if you haven't already subscribed, which I'm sure you have, then join us, because it's going to be a fun ride. We're going to stick around during the bear market, and we're going to be identifying the best buys out there so that the following run goes really well for you. And we'll be talking about how to take profits this cycle so that you're very liquid and cash rich, so that you can be buying when everything's cheap. And so it's going to be a fun 5 years, and we are, we're always looking for good sponsors, though we do say no to 98% of them. But we were able to, with WanChain, work a deal that we could give some giveaways, and we were able to work a deal with Cortex and Federa to invest in their IDOs for you and be able to give away those bags. So that's what those are. So help us get there by sharing the videos that you like on Twitter. That helps a long ways, because we find in general, not every type of personality style is right for this channel, but about 50% of them. They're looking for analysis, not just, oh my gosh, this is going to 100x, and kind of get that like excitement going up that kind of gives you a huge letdown. We give a lot of substance. So I know a lot of channels, they focus on all the sugar, and sugar, it is easier to grow faster. We focus on some of the vegetables and substance that gives you longevity, so that you're more likely to be able to be around 5 years from now and be far, far ahead. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks again to our sponsors. They're the best. NordVPN, also one of our sponsors, and we do have a link below for NordVPN. You get a huge discount if you sign up for 2 years. It's super cheap per month through them. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit, right before you could, was told to buy when it was pouring like a rain, make it should.